Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member. Mr. Chairman, you can hear me, I assume?
You bet.
Okay. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen Americans come together to support frontline workers. We have seen New Mexicans rally as communities to help their families and neighbors. But just as times of crisis can bring out the best in people, they can also bring out the worst who target vulnerable people. And that is why that's why we've been seeing this, I think, a lot in numerous reports of harmful scams that put consumers at risk. As a former Attorney General in New Mexico, I know you recognize the need to work with partners outside of the agency. State attorneys general have their ear to the ground. They hear directly from consumers, and many are strong protectors of state consumer laws. A working relationship with them is essential, and that's why I introduced the Stopping COVID Scams Act in the Senate to empower federal and state authorities to do more to deter scammers and hold them accountable. So my question is, my legislation would allow state attorneys general to bring a civil action in district court or state court to respond to COVID-related fraud under the FTC Act. So a question for every commissioner: do any of you oppose authorizing state attorneys general to take action and respond to fraud under the FTC Act?
Hi, this is Chairman Simons. No, I don't have any reservations about that at all, and I agree completely and want to echo what you said about the importance of our relationship with the state AGs. They are boots on the ground. They are terrific partners, and we couldn't do what we do without cooperating with them.
Great, thank you.
No concerns. I think it's a good idea.
Terrific, thank you.
Same.
I think we want answers from Phillips, Chopra, and Wilson also.
Senator Udall, I would like to take a closer look at the legislation. A lot of our statutes do pair state AG enforcement with ours, and that tends to be a really good thing. A lot of states, though, also have what we call Baby FTC Act, so I'm not sure how the statute, the proposed bill maps onto that.
Senator, I agree with your proposal.
Great, thank you very much. We'd like to, Commissioner Phelps, we'd like to continue the discussion with you and hopefully get to a place where you feel comfortable with attorneys general doing that. Now, you bet. My second question goes to civil penalty authority. My bill also enhances the FTC's civil penalty authority. This is the same bill talked about with regard to the attorneys general. Currently, FTC enforcement begins with an administrative complaint against a potential scammer. Then there's a cease and desist order or a settlement. Under current law, the commission can only then seek civil penalties in court if there's a further violation. This is months or potentially years of court action. But as we've seen, the current health crisis moves quickly. New Mexicans have died due to contaminated hand sanitizer with false labeling. Families fear for their health and are willing to spend their money on questionable products, making false claims. Chairman Simons, would enhancing the FTC's authority to use civil penalty authority protect consumers in the current health crisis?
Yeah, we support that. The other thing I would say is we really need 13B, because with 13B we can go into federal court and get a TRO, preliminary injunction, and we can get an asset freeze for these fraudsters. Whereas civil penalties might take a while to get through the court system, and we have to get the Justice Department involved too. So that would be important in the absence of 13B, but 13B is really important.
Yeah, thank you for that answer. Commissioner Slaughter, is the FTC's current toolkit of enforcement actions up to the present challenge?
Well, I think as you point out, Senator, civil penalty authority would be enormously helpful. It is really hard for us to have to go, in most cases, through that iterative process to get to civil penalties. And civil penalties are valuable because they put a big stick on the table in terms of potential money that companies will have to pay, which has an important deterrent effect. So seeing that would be important. The chairman pointed to an issue that I think is little noticed, but is also very important, which is that when we have civil penalties, we usually have to go through DOJ. I'd rather see those be coupled with independent litigating authority for us on the civil penalty front. And I also agree with the chairman's point about 13B, which is not only gives us those important tools to go into court, but it also allows us to return money directly to consumers. And what we want to do at the end of the day is make harmed consumers whole. So I think civil penalties coupled with 13B authority that is clarified are really, really important to both give a big stick, help deter bad actions, punish companies that have wronged consumers, and also return money to consumers that have been wronged.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. And I have a couple of questions for the record that I hope you'll answer with regards to refunds for flights and other travel arrangements, and then some of these bots that are taking real advantage of consumers and the marketplace. So with that, I would yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Udall.